Good afternoon, Dunkirk and Fredonia listeners, and welcome back to News at Noon. News at Noon is brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems on WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. I'm News Director Lee Pye here today with Joshua Ribakove, Sara Lodespoto, as well as Kowalyk and Sports Director Matt Volz. With this top-of-the-hour update, we'll bring you the latest of SUNY Fredonia's campus news and events, sports, weather, and music, as well as national and international news. First up, let's go to the event bulletin for this week. Fredonia Radio Systems is hosting a murder mystery event. Our general manager, Hunter, has been found dead by the rest of the e-board, and you need to figure out who did it. Just to be clear, Hunter is not actually dead, and it is just a game. To uncover the mystery, groups of 3 must travel around campus and search for all of the e-board members, playing their set of activities, to slowly solve the FRS mystery. The clue-themed murder mystery event is happening this Friday, March 22nd from 6 to 8 p.m. in McEwen G24. Whichever group wins would win prizes for solving the mystery. That's it for the information through the grapevine. Next up, we'll bring it to Chloe for our latest campus news updates.
Thanks, Lee. Several musicians from around the globe will be gathering on stage together at SUNY Fredonia for the Western New York Chamber Orchestra. This year, Fredonia will be hosting the Progressive Musicians Concerto Winners. The concert will be taking place at 7:30 p.m. on Thursday, March 28th in King Concert Hall. The concert itself will feature 7 soloists from various countries, including the United States, Brazil, China, and France. One such soloist, Mia Mandanao, is currently a student here at Fredonia pursuing her master's degree in performance. Orchesis, a student-run dance organization here at Fredonia, is preparing its next showcase. This year, the group has the largest cast in more than 5 years. Orchesis will be hosting their Spring 2024 showcase on April 12th and 13th at 7:30 p.m. and April 14th at 2 p.m. in the Bartlett Theater. This year, the show will feature 18 different dance pieces throughout several genres, including contemporary, jazz, hip-hop, and tap. As a club, Orchesis is open for all students to join, regardless of their major, and they typically host workshops for different dance styles throughout the semester. They also perform 2 major shows a year, including this upcoming performance. To purchase tickets for the shows this coming April, visit the Fredonia Ticket Office online or in person in the Williams Center. That's it for campus news. Now let's send it back to Lee.
Thanks, Chloe. Next up, we have local news. The solar eclipse is happening on April 8th, and businesses in Chautauqua County are prepping for the influx of tourists that will be coming in. The Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce held a meeting for businesses and community members to explain what might happen during this time. One of the speakers at the meeting witnessed other eclipses and is considered an expert in the field and said there was a huge jump in tourism in different towns. The line of travel during one eclipse was 53 miles bumper to bumper traffic jams just to get into the town to view the eclipse. From Buffalo to Erie, Pennsylvania, hotels are expected to be sold out. Businesses are encouraged to stay open during the eclipse, and in Fredonia, the eclipse is expected to be seen for 3 minutes and 41 seconds, and in Dunkirk, it's expected to be viewed for 3 minutes and 43 seconds. A new method of hydraulic fracturing to drill for natural gas in the Marcellus Shale is one third of the way to be completely banned in New York State. The state's 2020 to 21 budget added a new subdivision to the state environmental conservation law to prohibit high-volume hydraulic fracturing using water and oil and gas mining because of the many dangers it poses to the environment and human health. Natural gas companies are now proposing using carbon dioxide instead of water. While Republicans argued the science behind the use of carbon dioxide in hydraulic fracturing is unsettled, Assemblywoman Dr. Anna Kells argued that the science also hasn't proven health and the environment are protected under the newly proposed method. Companion legislation has been passed by the Senate's Environmental Conservation Committee, and the legislation is on the calendar for a full Senate vote. The debate takes on the local importance because of the Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties sit atop a part of Marcellus Shale, one of the largest sources of natural gas that lies beneath the several eastern states. Pennsylvania has used hydraulic fracturing of the Marcellus Shale, which with criticisms of the environmental and health impacts that drilling has on residents, while they are generating a reported $3.2 billion in state and local tax revenues. Goodell argued not enough is known about the health and environmental impacts of the use of carbon dioxide to drill in the Marcellus Shale to ban the practice outright. The members of the Westfield Police Department are about to get an upgrade with their assigned duty weapon, granted by the National Rifle Association Foundation. They're phasing out their older Glock 22 40 caliber sidearms and replacing them with the Glock 19 9mm caliber duty weapon. That's it for your local news update. Now let's send it to the sports guy, Matt Volz.
Thanks, Lee. Fredonia's softball and baseball teams have returned from their trips down south. The baseball team went 3-5 in their Ripken Classic games, highlighted by their second game when they came back to defeat La Roche 9-5 on a walk-off grand slam from junior Alex Gannon. The softball team went 5-7 in their spring games, and in the final game against Rutgers Newark, senior pitcher Vanessa Galbraith tossed a no-hitter in a 5-0 win. The baseball team is on the road this weekend for a doubleheader against Brockport starting at 3 p.m. on Friday. The softball team has a bit of time off, as they don't return to action until Tuesday, April 2nd for a 3 p.m. doubleheader at Alfred. And the lacrosse team is coming off a big win on Saturday, a 17-4 thrashing of Keuka on the road. Sophomore Megan Carolus found the back of the net 5 times, while freshman goaltender Ashley Mans held the Wolves at bay with only 4 goals allowed. The team sits at 4-2 on the season, and they are headed to Pennsylvania on Wednesday for a 5 p.m. matchup with Allegheny College. In front of a sellout crowd of over 18,000 fans, the Buffalo Bandits delivered with a 14-12 win over the rival Toronto Rock on Saturday night. Sporting their green St. Patrick's Day-themed uniforms, Buffalo responded from a lackluster third quarter to score 4 unanswered goals in the fourth, sealing the victory. Buffalo improved to 7-6 and notched a key win to keep their playoff hopes intact, while Toronto dropped to 11-3. 2 of Toronto's 3 losses this season have come at the hands of the Bandits. And the Buffalo Sabres are headed out west this week, starting with a 10 p.m. matchup with the Seattle Kraken tonight. Buffalo is looking to respond after a brutal 4-1 loss at the hands of the Detroit Red Wings on Saturday, one of the teams the Sabres are chasing for a playoff spot. The Sabres currently sit at 32-31-5 with 69 points, 5 points out of a playoff spot with 14 games remaining. Buffalo is also looking to erase a bit of negative history tonight, as they are 0-5 all-time against Seattle since the Kraken were added into the NHL in 2021. That's it for your sports update. Now let's send it to Sara with the weather.
Now here is your Northern Chautauqua weather update brought to you by Fredonia Radio Systems.
Hi, y'all. I hope you guys had a wonderful spring break, because I definitely did. However, I did not miss our cold temperatures here, as today we're at a 37 with high wind speeds and varying snow showers. I don't know what y'all been up to, but over break I learned how to ride a skateboard. I'm not a Tony Hawk just yet, but I can ride on the board for 2 minutes straight. That must mean something, right? With more snow covering the road as we descend into the low 30s, it doesn't look like I'm going to be getting any practice tonight. Unfortunately, it continues into tomorrow morning, accumulating up to an inch, all while giving us a breezy 40 degrees. You know, I was really looking forward to taking out my shorts and my t-shirts. It felt so nice that week before break. I guess we'll have to wait another month. Tomorrow night isn't helping our case here, since the flurries provide an additional inch of coverage in the low 30s. That's it for your 2-day weather. Keep listening. I'll be back with the rest of your 5-day forecast. For now, let's take it to Lee for a local music update.
Last Call Entertainment is presenting 4 bands this Thursday for a welcome back from spring break. Bands like Relentless Moisture, Pinch Kitten, Tiny the Dream, and Jacob King are performing at BJ's at 51 West Main Street in Fredonia on March 21st. Doors are at 9 p.m. and music is at 10 p.m. Last Call Entertainment is also presenting at BJ's with bands like Lobotomite, Coma Ghost, and Edelwood Creek on March 28th. Doors are at 9 p.m. and music is at 10 p.m. Same place, same time. That's all I have for music news this week. Let's bring it to Josh for national and international news.
Early this morning, the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza was the site of a raid by the Israeli military. The Israeli military claimed that it was raiding Gaza's largest medical facility in an attempt to track Hamas terrorists that were allegedly inside the hospital, the same building hosting refuge to displaced civilians. In a statement, the Israeli military said, quote, "During the activity, terrorists opened fire at the troops from within the hospital. The troops responded with live fire and hits were identified. Our troops are continuing to operate in the area of the hospital," end quote. The Gaza Ministry of Health responded with a statement rejecting the military's claims, writing that the raid is a flagrant violation of international humanitarian law. The Ministry of Health also claims that a fire broke out at the gate of the medical complex, costing the lives of multiple women and children that were trapped in the emergency reception in Building 8. Today, Joe Biden is expected to sign an executive order that would advance the study of women's health. For much of medical history, scientific study was based almost entirely on the male body. It wasn't until the 1990s that the government mandated women be included in federally funded medical research. Biden's executive order would strengthen data collection and provide better, easier funding opportunities for biomedical research. The head of the White House Initiative on Women's Health claims, quote, "We still know too little about how to effectively prevent, diagnose, and treat a wide array of health conditions in women," end quote. This executive order is also expected to influence votes from the female population as First Lady Jill Biden continues leading the initiative to boost federal government research on women's health. Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, and I'm sure many of you listening saw plenty of green throughout town. But that's not the only culturally significant green thing to have occurred on Sunday. London-based graffiti artist Banksy tagged the side of a 4-story building in Finsbury Park. In front of the wall stands a barren tree that has been heavily cut back and is bare. Lacking leaves, Banksy painted a mural of a man using a pressure hose to spray green paint across the wall, painting behind the tree where its leaves would otherwise be. It wasn't confirmed if the artwork was truly Banksy's doing until he made a post on Instagram about 5 hours ago with before and after photos of the scene. Although there is no caption on the image, many people speculate that the message of the artwork could have to do with the state of the environment and climate change. That's it for today's national and international news. Let's bring it back to Sara for your 5-day forecast.
With a high of 36 and snowfall, you best believe Wednesday is going to be a chilly day. It also doesn't help that the strong winds is throwing the snow at us. However, I can't be too negative since this does fall on International Happiness Day. Celebrate by sending some smiles and choosing kindness. Clearly, the weather did not get the memo because no happy inanimate object would have overbearing clouds dipping us in the low 20s that night. We start the season of Aries on Thursday in the cloudy low 30s. Celebrating my fellow Aries, let me give a brief description of what we're like. Amongst other things, Aries tends to be confident, impatient, and action-oriented. Like the ram, we like to go headfirst into our passions. Good luck finding this star constellation, since the clouds covering the night sky as we descend to the low 20s. I can already tell Friday is going to take forever to arrive, but when it finally does, we get similar temperatures from this week with a gloomy 36. The week after break is always rough. Just remember, take it day by day, and you are capable of more than you know. You just have to wait till that weekend evening when it shifts to the low 30s while still holding the cloud cover. That's it for your 5-day forecast. Let's take it right back to Lee.
That'll wrap up for today's edition of News at Noon. Campus News is written by Kowalyk. Local news for this broadcast is prepared by Lee Pye. Weather is presented by Sara Lodespoto. Sports is presented by Matt Volz. Music is prepared by Lee Pye. National and international news is prepared by Joshua Ribakove. And finally, board operations for this broadcast are performed by Kowalyk. Thanks for tuning in to News at Noon. Join us every Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. on WCVF 88.9 and WDVL 89.5. From all of us at Fredonia Radio Systems, have a lovely day.